Hello, welcome back. Ohayou gozaimasu. Clockwork and Noodles back in the house. Make sure you guys are subscribed because there is a lot of stuff now starting to go your way, and I might be diving back into an odd let's play or two. There is a new video that is up on my channel in case you have missed it. My midway review is up on the channels where I crowned my top 3 OPs, EDs and anime of this season so far. Naturally, there will be a end of season review. This is coming in about 6 weeks. I am considering as well maybe recording and putting up some of my gameplay for Devil May Cry 5 just because I haven't got the game yet and I am so hyped right now. I've been grinding away in 4 just trying to bide my time till payday, so I might do that to see how I feel. And I might also do some more GeoGuessr because GeoGuessr didn't actually go down too bad with you guys. So it was quite fun. And generally, we got to laugh at how I could never understand I was in the Philippines. And the Philippines like to trip me up quite a bit. But lots of cool stuff going your way. There is a Discord channel too that will allow you to have a notification to your phone whenever a video goes up on the channel. And it will be a place for me to tell you if there's any delays. Right now, the schedule is a bit bumpy just because I'm working a bit of extra time. Let's go to the episode that I just love Tae, guys. And I love Kotaro. Kotaro is my favourite character, but Tae is just a lovable character that I just don't think you can hate. She's just a zombie, and that's it. The only one now who hasn't fully awakened, hasn't fully regained the ability to talk and remember who she is. But that's what I think is so charming about her. I think she's such a charming character. And she is a pretty loved character. I see a lot of people telling me that Tae is one of my favourites. But it's nice because this episode essentially gives us a retouching on what happened last season, and we even get to see characters from last season reappearing in this episode, which is really, really nice. But we're going to go back to the reporters. We briefly touched on season 1 when they started to notice a few odd similarities. It was mainly with Junko. And this time we're starting to notice I and now Lily. This is sadly going to be the downside. I do think this is going to happen more and more as Franchuchu becomes more bigger and they hit a bigger audience. More people are going to be in that audience. Somebody's going to recognise somebody. It would have been interesting if somebody actually recognised who Tae was, because that's a character who, because she hasn't awakened, we've not really had much on the way of backstory with her. Or if we did, I really don't remember us having much backstory for Tae. Would be interesting to see if they can link up who Tae was. Inevitably, Franchuchu is going to be raising eyebrows. People are definitely going to start asking some questions. The irony of that zombie joke too, just ironic because it's real, even though it sounds so off the wall that, hey, they're zombies. And in modern conversation, it's like, yeah, sure, it's zombies, but it's actually the answer. And somebody's already kind of struck the iron on what it is. But it does spark the further intrigue in our head reporter into trying to find out if the rest of the girls actually have similarities and if they actually look like anybody else. Kotaro's entry, Kotaro reminding us this time there is a 20 million yen debt. That means the girls can't really afford to do anything costly. I do blame Kotaro for this debt. It was his kind of idea of expanding too soon, and he's kind of saddled them with this 20 million yen debt. So he does owe a lot to Tae for managing to wipe it out in just one episode. But it's our Tae episode, and I love Tae. She is great. She is carefree. She's very down to earth because, again, she's not really awoke in that sense. She's a very much loved member in our world and within the franchise as well, in the world of Franchuchu. Everyone loving her antics, loving how crazy she is. She barely says a word. She growls mainly, but she doesn't have to do much. People actually love her for just the fact she is how she is. And naturally, the reporter following Tae was the most anxiety-inducing thing ever because she's the one character who would definitely blow the zombie cover very, very quickly because she can't talk and she doesn't actually react to the world as she should be reacting to. So naturally, when he sees her sucking on a pen, you're like, actually, wait, no, I know you think you're tired, but this is probably a very big clue. Nobody actually looks at Rome, and Rome is just our zombie dog. I came up with some crossbreed ideas. So because Rome is kind of a mismatched dog, I figured that it was a crossbreed. So these are my crossbreed ideas for Rome. I've got the zombie Wawa, you've got the Zomdoodle, or the Zomeranian. I really like Zomeranian. I think with those ears, it could even be spaniel ears as well. So I mean, you could have a cockazomba. maybe. One of those ideas I really like. I had some fun coming up with those different crossbreeds. But it's a very heartwarming episode, generally just seeing how Tae doesn't really have to do very much, but the community around her has adjusted to her. They accept Tae for being as weird, as wonderful as she is. We do kind of seeing her exercise some self-control. I mean, some self-control. I feel like she could have been a lot worse than she is actually in this episode. But it's just that heartwarming episode, the scene that the zombie who growls, doesn't really say anything, is still able to be part of a group who inspires. And we see her essentially fitting in a way. Like, even the reporter says she fits right in, because the neighborhood we're even in is a little bit crazy. I think most of the people in Saga who we actually do meet, they're a little eccentric, which is quite nice. I think it works. Eventually meet up with Maria, and this is a plot line back with the original Saki episode back in season 1, which is great just to see them reusing the character, bringing it back. And even when she starts chewing on Maria's bun, I think she chews on her bun, this is unnatural behaviour. Anyone starts chewing on your hair in public, you might want to get out of there. But it's just the fact that seeing her do this, and Maria's kind of at this point used to the norm. This is the norm. This is the way it is. Everybody else around her doesn't seem too bothered, but the reporter's the one who is trailing, who is like, wait, she's chewing on her. She's literally chewing on her. The dance battle, we have Tae versus Clockwork, showing us that even just these odd zombie talents that she has, in the real world, she doesn't really blend in or anything, and it might put her at a disadvantage compared to all the other zombies in the group. She does still have talents that she can exhibit, and we saw her last time playing the drums, which really, really worked. And this time we're seeing her showing off some really cool dance moves, showing us the advantages of having your head come off and being able to spin constantly. I definitely would get motion sickness. Generally, if I was trying to do any kind of like spin, I just get motion sick. So Tae would definitely have me in a dance competition. Then seeing Tae go all exorcist halfway through, reverse crab, I think it's the reverse crab, and she just kind of walks towards Clockwork, and that is just, it reminds me of the reason why I really enjoy ZombieLand Saga, because every now and again, an episode would throw in just a little nugget, a little Easter egg of horror, which is what makes this anime so great at times, because most of the time it's pretty happy, the colours are great, and obviously we've got metal, there's a lot of metal influences, which occasionally they surface. I wish they would surface a bit more. Every so often, when we see the Easter eggs, when maybe a girl's had the makeup washed off by the magical makeup removing wave, and you see the horror underneath of what they actually look like, it's those moments where I think you actually build up a great bit of comedy, and it really, really works. This is totally the cop from season 1, and the creepy cop who was hitting on Junko. This guy is just, I guess he's just one of those reappearances that he is the shady cop. Tae rejects the money at first, because to a zombie brain even, that onions are edible. You can eat onions. You can't eat money. Well, I guess it won't taste very nice. I mean, you probably can eat money. I wouldn't recommend it. Here in the UK, we have the plasticky type of money. I wouldn't eat plastic. But it's just that simple irony of our shady officer, the officer who's really been, every time he appears, it's generally because he's a little bit unsafe, probably saying things to the girls he probably really shouldn't be saying, but of him trying to say, hey, I'll help you spend your money, and we get to see more of this guy's shady antics of his love of gambling. But we do have to thank him, because it's actually thanks to his idea of dragging them to this place and seeing the speed racing and being able to catch up again with Misa, pop in the possibility of the debt being erased. And it's just irony that 20 million yen is what is going as a prize in this sense. The COVID-friendly Kurosuke. Seeing these guys again, absolutely love it. But this guy's totally COVID-friendly. We basically get to see the after effects, or a final retouch, essentially. So we had the episode of Saki and Misa. We had them playing a bit of a anxiety-inducing game of chicken, and where Saki displays her new abilities of her being a zombie. They take the death jump and actually survive because she's kind of dead already. We get to see the after effects and what that did. It lit a fire under Misa, who has been pursuing the speed ever since number 2 raced her. Tae's ink sneeze is just perfect. It's the perfect way of setting her up to win without even being aware of what she did. I knew she'd bet on Misa. It was fate. It was just fate that she would accidentally sneeze and bet on Misa. Usually in an anime, I would sin this, but it is ZombieLand Saga. I really can't sin them because most things in ZombieLand Saga are just mad and off the bat anyway. But Misa's ability to zoom in and spot Maria in a crowd, I wish I had that kind of ability. Just to go, wait, where have I read that, or what's over there? I want to like zoom in and have a look. The Rocky soundtrack during our speed race is absolutely fantastic, and Tae turns out to be a winner in more senses in just one. She ends up winning some free snacks that she totally had her eye on, and Tae did come out the ultimate victor when it comes to the snack race this episode. But she also won the prize money that we needed, 20 million. I mean, where did I hear 20 million before? Oh yeah. The debt is just magically erased just in one crazy episode. Just the amazing things that could happen to you if you go out just errand shopping or something. I guess that is the takeaway from this week's episode is you could be weird and wacky and people will probably accept you for who you are. Just don't go chewing on people's hairs. Nothing's going to happen unless you actually leave the house. I think that is the grand moral that we should be taking away from today's episode as well. Thankfully, our reporter turned away and got a bit bored, and then he starts walking home. He actually misses Tae's head coming off. So I thought. Initially, I thought he had turned away, but the preview for next week, maybe not the case. Even though I think Tae's head came off initially in the first show ever in season 1, where they're all zombies apart from Sakura, and then Tae's head falls off. Or maybe it comes off twice, so her head doesn't really like to stay on. But next week's episode, the way it's set up, the way the preview is leaning, is this the week that the zombie secret is exposed? How are you going to fake and explain an image of a girl with her head laying on the floor? It has been another fun episode. If anything, it's probably the fun episode because it's Tae's episode, and Tae is still that character who hasn't awoken. She's not talking like everybody else. She's not on that same level of awareness. I wish she would, but at the same time, I think having at least one proper zombie is what makes a lot of the gags land a bit better. So a lot of the times, some of the more crazy gags will land because Tae is eating something, or Tae is trying to hold herself back from eating something, and you get nice touching moments because even the one who is a full-on zombie in that situation is able to hold herself back and show some restraint. But I love this week's episode. I am very excited for next week's episode, mainly because it's been something that's been on my mind all the time, is the idea of keeping something this big a secret, and especially with the way that they perform and the use of electricity at times as well. It's just inevitable. It really feels inevitable that eventually the secret's going to be out, and how are people going to react? How are the girls and Kotaro, how are they going to react? How are they going to try and do damage control? What are they going to say? What's the excuse going to be? And just, Kotaro, how did you create zombies? I really want to know. So maybe that's going to come out at some point as well. The dark secret of how Kotaro has actually done what it is he's done. So thank you guys so much for tuning in again. It's been fun. I will see you again next week. Lots of fun things going your way. So make sure you are subbed because I am going to be trying to bring out some different forms of content as well. So have a good day, guys. Stay safe. Bye-bye, guys.